guys, it's Lord of the Pogs. My name is Rob and I have catoptrophobia, fear of mirrors. It started when I was a kid. This is how my room was set up. My bed was here and my desk was here. I had a bookcase here next to the closet, and on the wall next to the door was a mirror. My room was in the basement, so the window, which was narrow and ran horizontally the length of the room, was about 5 feet off the ground. At night, while I was trying to sleep, I could see reflections of the window in the mirror. I never knew what I was looking at, and if you've ever been in a dark room, you know how your mind plays tricks on you. If I closed my eyes, I knew the reflections were still there. If I rolled over to face the wall, I knew the reflections were still there. One night, I had a nightmare where I woke up, but I wasn't awake. I was sleepwalking, but I was aware that I was sleepwalking. I got out of bed and walked over to the mirror and stood in front of it, just staring at myself, staring off into space. I tried to wake myself up to go back to bed, but I couldn't. I was just stuck there. I couldn't even close my eyes. If you've ever had sleep paralysis, that's coming up in another video, that's what it felt like in my dream. After staring at my reflection for a few minutes, that's when I woke up. I had this dream a number of times before I decided to face my fear. One night, with the lights still off, I got up and walked over to the mirror and looked at my reflection. I started making faces at myself to prove that I was awake, I wasn't asleep, and I was fully in control of myself. But at some point, I started to lose control. Instead of my reflection mimicking what I was doing, I felt like I was mimicking what my reflection was doing. After my reflection made a few faces at me, I was able to pull myself away from the mirror and go back to bed. I never looked in the mirror in the dark again. In fact, I had to take the mirror down and prop it up against the wall at the foot of my bed so I couldn't even see it. To this day, if I'm going to go into a room where I know there's a mirror, the lights have to be on first. Catoptrophobia really comes to life in movies like Oculus, where an antique mirror supposedly possessed by an unknown supernatural force manipulates human perception and triggers hallucinations to torment and kill people. The legend of the Lasser glass goes, "See the mirror hanging there, face of silver, frame of black. Oculus of glass I stare, I can feel you staring back. I hear your voice, believe your lies, a window, portal, darkened door. Should you claim my staring eyes, my soul you hold forevermore." One thing I really like about Oculus is there's two main characters who have polar opposite experiences with the same events. When the film opens, it jumps right into Kaylee discussing the mirror's supernatural powers, and the audience just eats it up.
Oliver Jeffries, dead plants in the classroom. Tobin Cap, dead plants in the bedroom. Garden service at Hope Trust Bank couldn't understand why they had dead plants all over the place. Gardens, Australian Shepherd. Tobin Cap's Dalmatian, the pets were never found. I saw Mom lock him in the office, and I sat outside that door all day, and nobody went in. You know, the temperature in here has risen by 3 degrees. 3 degrees.
But when Tim hits back with a rational explanation for everything, the audience realizes how ridiculous it is, and that Kaylee is clearly in her own head.
Problems with the water supply, maybe a bad tank. I seem to remember drinking out of a Brita filter. Remember Mason toward the end? Vomiting, accidents all over the house. My therapist had me research parvovirus. It's a fatal canine illness flagged by nausea, aggression, infected urine, and stool, which incidentally can kill plants. Mason was sick. Our brains actually encode information as fuzzy traces, more like a general meaning than an exact record.
This is horseshit, Tim.
And adults are more likely to combine those traces into false memories. You saw Mom put the dog in the office on a number of occasions.
Oh, God. What did they do to you?
Way before Dad forbade anyone else from going in the office. Those traces fused with your memory of that
I
day.
feel sorry for you.
Okay, what's more likely? That you're misremembering events from 11 years ago? Or that the mirror eats dogs? Our father was a cheater, and it drove our mother crazy.
Stop it.
He snapped and he killed her. Was going to do the same to us.
Oh, yeah. A bad marriage. That explains how Mom had no teeth, no hair, no mind left by the time she died.
Kaylee, you...
Yeah, a bad marriage. That explains those other people we both saw in the house that last
He
night.
was withdrawn, secretive, all signs of an affair.
I had access to all of Mom and Dad's stuff. While you were getting brainwashed, I looked, and not one credit card received, phone call, flower order, nothing to suggest an affair.
You're smart enough not to leave a trail. 2 people people in a small space, lights burning, electrical equipment. I
The
don't know.
phone lines are probably down by now. Why don't you check?
Okay. Try to tell me.
I think Oculus would have done really well as a short film and ended there, not least because it would have left so much open for interpretation, but because that's how a phobia really works. We see the world pertaining to our fear, whether it's globophobia, coulrophobia, or icocytriophobia. We see the world a certain way, and in our head it all makes sense. But to someone else who doesn't have that phobia, they're looking at the same thing we are, but they see it completely differently. I think it's pretty unusual for someone to seek out media that brings their phobia front and center. Not many people with acrophobia or basophobia would seek out fall. Not many people with arachnophobia watch arachnophobia for fun. One thing I take a lot of pride in is I'm a rational person. In philosophy, and this goes a lot deeper, maybe a topic for a future video, rationalism is the epistemological view that regards reason as the source of knowledge in contrast to sensory experience. I know that catoptrophobia is irrational. I'm always very careful with mirrors to not break them, even if I'm throwing one in the trash, but ultimately I know that I'm not going to have bad luck until my mid-40s because I broke a mirror. Movies like Oculus, Mirrors, or Look Away are good for me because yes, they bring my fears to life, but they're so over the top that it becomes ridiculous. And it reminds me that yes, my fear is irrational, and yes, I am a rational person. If you have a fear, don't do anything that's going to cause you more harm than good. Don't pick up a spider. If you have severe arachnophobia, don't climb a radio tower if you're going to get vertigo and lose your balance and fall. But as much as you safely can, however is comfortable, face your fear, and don't let them control you unnecessarily. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that little bell in the corner to get notifications on more videos like this one.